In today's video, we are going to be breaking down LaMelo Ball and his rookie season. How well did he do? Some of the things that he did really great, and some things that you can do as well, just like LaMelo. So let's get down, let's check him out, let's see how well he actually plays. So the first thing I really want to say is his passing is ridiculous. Just look at that pass. Let's break it down. Okay, so what does LaMelo Ball have coming down on this, what I'm going to call is a fast break? He has great floor spacing with him coming up the middle. This is standard basics that you want to have. Next, he has a player who is stopping at the three-point line with another player who is going to be cutting down towards the net. Now, where are his defenders? We have 1 defender, 2, 3, and 4. Where are they located? Well, we have a player right here who is cutting off his right side. We have another player here, Flynn, who is cutting off the middle. We have this player here, Matt Thomas, who is coming up and he is cutting off and stopping that three-point shot from happening. And LaMelo Ball is able to see this because all the way through, he has been watching the defense. With his peripheral vision, he knows where his players are in front of him, and he can understand and read what the defenders are doing. Something that LaMelo Ball does extremely well early on in the play is he's able to recognize where each of these defenders are going, like if he has a skytop bird-like view like we have here. And because of this, he is able to do a behind-the-back pass. Why is this important? Why is it more important doing a behind-the-back pass than an in-front pass? Well, number one is if he was to pass in front of him, this would allow multiple players to be able to react faster. They would be able to react and cut that player off a lot earlier. Now, with a behind the back pass, up until the last second, it doesn't look like a pass because it could be just a quick behind the back dribble and he could be continuing. But instead, he is able to get that behind the back pass, and at this point, this player almost has the ball already, and they are just starting to turn their heads saying, well, maybe we should probably cut that player off. Well, it's too late. He has a full set of steam. He just has to go 1, 2, and up for a dunk or a layup. But why is this important? This pass was also on target to a point where that player doesn't have to take a dribble. It just has to be 2 steps and goes in for a dunk or a layup. In this case, it's a layup. This is why I personally think LaMelo Ball could be a deadly player. It's not because of his three-point shooting. It's because he's able to make passes like this, making these players think it's just going to be a regular dribble, sets it up so that player only has to catch and go up for 2 steps. Very smart, very high-level play. Here we have another play where he passes behind his back, and again, it's another perfect choice as to what to do, and let me explain why. Of course, we do have Bismack Biyombo finishing with a smash, but what makes this a great pass? Well, he is driving on 2 players, technically. He's driving on Bembry, and then we have Boucher coming out to block his shot. By the way, for all of those NBA fans who don't know, I will be breaking down Boucher soon, probably in the offseason, because his defense is ridiculously good, and his shooting is surprisingly good. But anyways, we're talking about LaMelo. Why is this behind the back pass important? Well, let's get down to it. Well, first off, these 2 players jump straight up. There's not going to be a shot had here, and of course, we have Bismack Biyombo wide open, and obviously, for a regular pass, you cannot get that ball to him. Most players would do a behind-the-back bounce pass, but we have LaMelo Ball who does a floater pass. I call it a floater pass because it kind of sits in the air for a while. And because then we have Bismack Biyombo who's able to finish the play with a dunk. Now, for all those who don't know, Bismack Biyombo used to play on the Raptors, and he was really well known around the basket for getting garbage baskets. And that's why I personally thought that he would be a perfect fit with LaMelo Ball, because LaMelo can draw double team players. Bismack can get off the ground quick and finish with dunks like this. So if you've got players like Bismack on your team and you can pass like LaMelo, you're going to do extremely well in the assist game. Something that I don't understand is players who close out trying to jump to block a 3-point shot, especially from somebody who never really hit a 3 yet in his career. This was LaMelo Ball's first 3 in the NBA. But at least from what I have been reading and looking at. So that's why I'm breaking down this play. Now, from there, what do we see? We see an unorthodox shooting form that is totally off from anything we've ever been taught in our entire lives. And yet we have Matt Thomas, who is a fantastic three-point shooter, going out to try and block this shot. He should know better that you should be taking stutter steps out, and of course, he is not taking stutter steps out to be able to block this shot, or at least contest it. If he was to contest it, that would have been a lot harder, but if you can get a shot fake, this shot fake was very good though, because he went up onto his toes, which does get many players, even great defenders, and Matt Thomas isn't exactly a fantastic defender, up into the air. Then, after you get that player out of your way, you can take a quick one dribble sidestep out, and now you've got a nice clear shot, nobody around, and you can get that shot up. Now, the reason why his shot seems to go in, even though his elbow is way out towards that right side, is because he has a very nasty thumb flick that actually pushes that ball up into essentially a shooting position. And I've broken down his shot before, but I think it's changed slightly and I need to change the video up a bit. But his shoulder and elbow, when it's like this, is in line with the basket. Even though it doesn't start this way, that thumb flick pushes it up into an actual shooting form, and then he flicks straight towards the basket. And he has a hard/soft release, and I mean that by it's a soft release at first, or I mean a hard release at first, but then goes soft, which allows it to have that high arc and a lot of rotation, which is actually quite interesting of a shooting form. And this is what I mean right there, where he gets up onto his toes. That is a very, very good shot fake, if I say so myself. And then he's able to get that shot up, and of course, just I don't know how anyone thought that he was a bad shooter, but he is actually a pretty darn good shooter, at least right now. Let's also not forget that he has a lot of length. He is a very long player, so when he gets and takes contact, if he can get and stay up into the air for a while, he can actually get that shot off over many taller players, just like that. And you can do that as well. Obviously, you need some length, but if you do have some length on you, this is something that is quite possible. You just need to hang in the air for a bit, which is really what I've actually broke down recently in a video. You need to use a lot of your hips into your jump to be able to float in the air like that, or like MJ. So something that he does really well as also is because he is able to float that ball up over top of the defense, and he's able to get it into a position around the rim so that now his teammates are able to finish with a lot of alley-oop dunks. He does this for Bismack, he does this for a lot of different players on his team. But what we do see here is, where does he lay up this ball to? It is within the distance of the rim where that player is able to reach. And what I mean by that is, if you can get that ball within a 4-foot span or even a 5-foot span of the rim, it really depends on the players that you're really passing it up to. Generally speaking, you want to, if you're passing from the front, anywhere from the free throw line and above, and you're passing an alley-oop pass, if the player is cutting this way from the right side, you generally want to have that ball hit the bottom of the backboard right there. And the reason for that is, of course, it's within that distance of being able to pass that ball and be able to have that player catch it. And if he misses it, it's still going to hit the back of the backboard and stay in play. This is the exact same distance as about 4 feet from the rim. This one's roughly about 3 feet from the rim. And this would be the same as if you were to pass to a player cutting on the left side. You would want it to be within this distance, just on the opposite side of the backboard. So if you're looking to send up alley-oop passes like this one, then if you can get that ball rim height, which is what we do see here, that's roughly rim height where he catches it, and if you can get it within 4 feet, which is roughly the distance that you would want to be in. Generally, a 6-foot player would want to be within about 4 feet because, of course, or even 6 feet technically, because if his arm is about 3 feet long, his body is 3 feet from the rim, then that allows him to stretch 3 feet in either direction. But I always like to say to my players, play it safe, 4 feet from the basket, and that way you can create a lot of alley-oop opportunities for players who can dunk on your team. And of course, you can actually practice this, and I don't mean practice what we just seen there, but you can actually practice this by just driving towards the free throw line and sending up a floater to hit the foam part of under the bottom of the backboard. And if you can send up a floater to hit that spot, and you can do that 20, 30 times in a row. Try to hit the same spot on that foam. Maybe set up a piece of tape, and you can hit that piece of tape each and every single time. That's going to help you send up alley-oop dunks for your teammates. Also, just a reminder, if you want any equipment, I leave all of the links of the stuff that I use down in the description below for videos as well as for equipment. I hope that you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, hit that like button and subscribe, and I will see you guys again next time.